So, we're recording, so welcome to the June 2026 version of Mac Convinced. We're coming to you live and in person at Rutgers University. Thank you, Dennis,
And Scott.
and Scott for hosting. Yep. All right, so we're just gonna go right into it. WWD6 was last week, and so we have a lot of stuff to go over. Let's begin. Next slide. Start off with what's new. I hit it again because that's the fancy thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hit it again. So, for most of us here, Gold Gate was actually announced. Next, along with all the other 27 versions of iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, visionOS, et cetera, et cetera. There was some additions made to Apple Business, aside from obviously what happened earlier in the year, where they consolidated everything, Apple Business Manager and Apple Education Manager, whatever, school manager, whatever, apps, and combined them into like Apple Business. So, they have announced at WWDC that they are adding volume purchase app subscriptions. So and I think that's for if you have like managed Apple IDs or Apple accounts. And so an organization will be able to purchase apps in bulk and assign them to managed Apple accounts. And when those folks leave, you can reclaim those licenses, that sort of thing. They also added some additional device detail at API endpoints. So when using the API, get some more details from the devices that are in ABM, Apple Business. Right? Moving on. So one of the big takeaways from WWDC now is that DDM is the standard protocol. Everything that subsequent from this should be, unless otherwise stated, will be implemented via DDM configuration or declaration. So among those is new network configuration declarations for things like the built-in VPN or different things. There is now a declaration for legacy MDM profiles as declaration assets. So that will be a declaration, and then we've referenced the asset, which gets pulled down at the same time. And I think that's going to be probably how most of us will end up doing until they come with DDM configurations for replacements for everything. We'll have a lot of legacy profiles as MDM declarations in DDM, sort of like how MCX was kind of like the default legacy for MDM. This will now be default.
Will MCX
What?
profiles work in DDM declarations?
Right, that's what they're saying. Like, so you have the profile as an asset.
Right. No, but I mean, like if your profile
Yes.
still is like an MCX style profile, then that work in DDM.
That is a good question that I hope somebody finds out during beta testing, so we can figure that out. Someone who has like nano MDM and can implement all those declarations today. Anyway, moving on. There will be additional status items coming from the DDM channel that will just be polled automatically because that's been coming from the device to the server. You can now set declarations for web content filtering. So all of your proxies and web filtering will have to soon move to DDM. Though an exciting new thing for everybody who has had to have the pleasure of trying to give Apple logs from iOS, iPadOS devices, iPhones and iPads, is you can now set up remote AppleCare log collection, which they demoed during the video, and it looks like it's definitely going to be, and you can do it for Macs as well. So it's like definitely would like to see more details on that. But if you have a large fleet of iPhones and iPads, that's probably going to help a lot.
And then that's in addition to the strange and limited special URLs they could give out.
Right.
Term.
Yeah.
Collection.
Yeah, so it's a lot of song and dance, and for users who are not particularly technically savvy, but are having a a serious issue, that's going to be a godsend. For the iPad, iPad OS, iOS, and Vision OS, when you do restore from backup on 27, none of the device management information is restored from backup. So you could conceivably just restore everything from backup. I know at least a lot of organizations, they prevent you from doing restore from backup, or they tell you not to choose that option because the device management information gets ported over as well, and that screws things up. So this will help make a better user experience going from device to device if we're not carrying that over. Next. Yeah. There's some return to service enhancements. I forget what they are off the top of my head. So I include the link to the video later on. Next, content caching configuration. Those of you doing that, that's now moved up to the DDM. There are some new Vision OS restrictions. So if anybody's having, you have those devices and you need to restrict them a little further, they're now available. Apple Intelligence, Siri and keyboard moved over to DDM. So going forward in 27, those will need to be shifted over from there. I think the Apple Intelligence ones are already lit up, but I may have been looking at something else. File provider management for anything like Google Drive, OneDrive, et cetera, that there are some new features and new configurations available with DDM in 27 coming soon. Managed migration assistant, kind of like the restore from backup on mobile devices, migration system on Mac OS, obviously, it doesn't anymore, but it used to copy all that. All the device management information prior MDM and stuff. The managed migration system, you can basically limit and control what comes over a little further. So just like user data, not necessarily like manage that.
I did like 15% of my feature request, and that's still a good 15%.
Yes, right. So all the software update commands that are MDM based will not work in OS 27 going forward. That's across all devices. So it's DDM or bust. See what else. Yeah. App management controls. This is a new feature coming through DDM. So this will allow you to allow or deny apps on mobile devices and allow or deny binaries from Mac OS. This would, ameliorate the need for something like Santa or using Jampro's restriction feature. So this is something at least we're looking at to try and do that, to try and go from the wild west of letting people install everything to like you can all like these are okay, these are not. Especially now with all the AI apps, things that
We had somebody look into it. It seems pretty limited still, but
well, it's better than
slightly
something they
better.
had before. Yeah.
Is it both an allow list and a block list?
I will have to check details. That's my impression. You can have both. Or you can do one or the other, just only allow or only deny.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the old parental controls let you do that, so this has kind of been an evolution of
right,
that.
yeah, but those are deprecated for a while, so.
It didn't work well.
Yeah, so all of your TCC profiles will need to move over to the DDM because that's going away. That's all those have been deprecated. I think I read somewhere that some of the privacy things the people had stopped. Users got prompted in 27, so that may either be that's maybe a bug in the beta. Or something. That should be something we'll keep an eye on. So the managed app framework, which is something that they had on the iOS, iPadOS side, is now coming to macOS. And I think this is essentially configuring or declaring the managed app and taking over apps that may be on the device that they got from other locations. Like if they went through the App Store and downloaded it personally on their Apple ID, we can now like make it a managed app through a managed app in Camden. So that's my impression of what I read. So I might have it wrong. Like it's been a lot. So, but more to come on that, obviously, as we deep dive. App test. So my impression of this is basically for some of these apps, you can have device attestations, sort of that. It was a little fuzzy for me. That's something that's coming as well. That we'll have to dig into to see if that's going to be any useful. Yeah. This is also something major for as a DDM configuration declaration. When you install a package, you will now have the install behavior can be configured in a declaration. And, so I'll have to see what it entails, but when people, have obviously it will. I imagine the things that are in the BOM file then get pulled by default, and then if there's other things that get installed, like we know vendors like to do things in the post install script that they probably should not be doing. So, really be able to script some of that behavior, hopefully in this declaration, in order to make sure that the stuff that we install with this, they can then get pulled back out. So that's something to look forward to and examining more closely. Removal of accessibility management name. I knew what this was in the drive over. I forgot what it was.
Oh, it's the ability to pre-approve apps for accessibility.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
we do that with Teams so that
Right.
you can do
Yeah.
control screen and stuff.
Right.
That's been deprecated for a few.
Right. Then it's been
now.
deprecated for a while. I think that goes hand in hand with like the privacy consent updates as well. So I think you should be able to continue to manage that in the DDM declaration side. Again, more investigation coming. And obviously a major one, Intel Macs will not be able to go to macOS 27. If you have any Intel Macs in your fleet, now is the time to refresh them or retire them. I was
Report them.
all right.
I don't want that.
Page. So yeah, so this is a little more of the identity stuff that they go into. So you can now do web-based authentication with platform SSO. Essentially, what that means is the call up there. It's like the IDP sign-in page will show up and the file vault unlock, the lock screen, and login. So, and that's for some organizations, that's going to be something that's much anticipated. From a usability and user experience point, I think we'll probably test that to see how that works and what the pain points are. But it's at least encouraging that we can actually get that. Because I think IDP sign-in page is the file that unlock it that unlocks, and then goes to the desktop. I think might be a better experience than typing in the local password and then logging in from there. And if you have if you're using Jamf Connect or something to like connect to the IDP to auth to get into the login. Then, and then just so basically moving it a step forward might be a better experience for someone. I can't wait. So
Doesn't be a jam.
also, you can now force either a Wi-Fi login user to join the network of Wi-Fi, or show a captive portal to join the Wi-Fi and log in. So,
That's huge.
I think that's something that people have been asking for
That
a
is
long
huge.
time.
Yeah, when someone goes to a hotel, plane,
Yep.
uh,
So Touch ID can now be required for platform SSO, but this is not in place of the password, but in addition to, so this is considered a second factor for that. So you can require Touch ID at login, so they'll type in the password and then hit the thing and then it log. So that's my understanding of that. So they've also added file vault for authenticated guest mode if you're using that. So have those files encrypted. I don't think could think of a use case for that, but somebody must have. So
Compliance.
I think most organizations want you to disable guest access.
can't remember last time I even thought of using it.
Authentication. I think it's different. I think it's the thing where you use your iPhone or an Apple Watch
And
log into it.
if you have any shared iPads or use cases, you can now do authentic guest mode for shared iPads. OS 27.
I do want to set up authenticated guest mode in a lab that we need to access at on the Macs. So I've been trying to.
Yep.
Back in that way.
21 years later.
Next.
Yeah.
Okay, for macOS, Apple has made a point of emphasizing that they are adding Microsoft Graph support. And I think that's going to be for the mail, calendar, and contacts apps primarily, since I think they were using EWS or something else. Or what is the other protocol?
Way,
What?
which is going away.
Well,
No, EWS is.
yeah, all that's going away. So it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And it might be one of those things where if you are relying on mail and don't upgrade to Golden Gate, then you're not going to get your mail, your Exchange email.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess it's too complex to backport, right?
Right. Yes. So Microsoft is sunsetting EWS.
Oh.
And I think the mail application is using. I think that's defaults to that still.
Yeah.
So that's something that they're working on. So so when that drops.
is that both the same with like old Outlook and new Outlook? Yes. That would be
Yeah.
as if Microsoft's calling. EWS was the protocol that Microsoft created to partially replace MAPI and never fully replaced it, I don't think.
Right. And I think they're doing something else.
Still,
Yeah, like they came up with a
Still
different
did.
protocol.
Like free domains, I
EWS,
think.
yes. Yes, Ben, thank you. All right, moving on. They made some shared signal framework updates. This is again forward like we had Joel come here and talk to us about shared signals framework a year ago, actually.
Yeah.
At our meetup a year ago for her 10th anniversary. So this will make Apple devices more compatible with a lot of that shared signal framework structure. So
Where does this one get talked about? Because I missed it.
what?
Where did the SSF stuff get talked about? Because I missed it.
It was in the video.
I mean, like which session was it?
Oh, it was like our 10th anniversary.
No, not our thing.
No,
Like
The
when
WWDC one?
Oh, WWDC.
we're in WWDC to get this.
Oh.
This was in the what's new for Apple devices.
Didn't read that.
All right. And one of the last things is we now can, if for those education organizations that are using the classroom app, you can now do guided browsing in 27. So, and I think comes up, yes, so there's a link to the what's new in device management video. And if you're not in Apple's beta testing feedback program, there is formerly known as Apple Seed. I have a link there so you can go and sign up.
They don't call it that anymore?
So, no, the site is actually beta.apple.
Yeah, it's beta at Apple, but I didn't know they sunsetted the actual term.
Yeah. Like if you type in Apple Seed, then I think
It defaults right to
beta.
that, yeah. It goes to beta.
All right, so that's our WWDC roundup, and getting back to items of interest. Obviously, all session videos are now been made available for WWDC 2026, the one that's most germane to us. And the Macamin Foundation and Summer Drive is underway now. Go to the Macamin's channel, Foundation's channel in Slack to get some more details. Basically, the promotion's running from now until July 4th. So they have a specific goal that they want to hit. If you can spare some ducats, please donate. Other things of interest. So Auto Package Wizard, there's something I learned about today. Is a Swift UI app to fully manage auto package.
When did this happen?
So it's been fairly recent. It looks like it's only a couple of months old. Yeah, it's only a couple of months old. And it looks like could be a full replacement for auto packager. If you're using the auto packager,
that was the goal.
so
Requires macOS 26.
yeah, auto packager. I don't know if anybody's noticed. It's apparently using some Intel components still, because it keeps telling me that it might be out of.
Or is that over 20?
Yes. So they have a year to get it updated to full Apple Silicon, but
Rosetta still goes on 27?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rosetta will be limited.
But
still 28.
Oh,
Yeah.
limited.
yes, it'll be limited to 20 to just certain gaming games.
Okay.
Is it?
Right, we just get
For
rid of it now.
for all the Monkey folks, the Monkey 7.2 Beta 2 was just recently released. I forget what the primary thing is on top 2.
It's the being able to restrict updates to certain times of the day,
Right.
or notifications, I guess. To certain
Notifications, right. So, and Auto Package 3, the RC4 was also released recently. So lots of under the hood changes. I know one of the things that they are doing is updating the version of Python that gets included. It sounds like some recipes that are using anything from the distutils module need to be updated, since that is gone in Python versions 3.12 and higher. So distutils would be the version comparison. So anything that's using that
Old method of version.
the old meshing pattern will need to be updated in order to use the new method. There's lots of other things like performance improvements that are coming with that. One of the things I saw was that I don't think it's threading. I didn't see anything mentioning the threading, but it should process if you have a lot of repos with recipes in there. You should see some speeds.
Auto package 3 doesn't index.
Yeah, right.
That it uses for.
Yeah, and there's some other security improvements as well. It's a big list. It's definitely a major update when it finally gets released. So there might be some updates that folks will have to do to make their recipes compatible. So,
The last 5 versions of Python have generally had.
I was supposed to put a link up for this here, and I didn't.
Increase in
Uh,
performance.
I was going to link up to a list of other items of interest from ARM's blog, but I forgot to put the link in. And so that's items of interest. So I think, so yes, the MacaDuck 2026 conference videos are online. Also for Macamins Europe, that's there. That's what's happened. So,
Oh, I should change that. Registration just closed.
and
But it's
registration
next
just
year.
closed?
Like today, yeah.
Okay, so are you going?
Yeah.
So registration closed, unfortunately. So yes,
Speaking
that's coming up later this month. Montreal is a beautiful city. I've been there many, many times. Amazing food, like really amazing food.
Sweet.
If you like beer, really amazing beer. If you like jazz, there's several jazz clubs that are really nice as well. Two thumbs up for Montreal. PSU Mecklen's registration is still open. The Penn Stater and the Nittany Lion Hotel are sold out. So if you are going, you will have to stay somewhere else.
Where are you, Serge?
I am at, I think, a Marriott or something. So, yeah, because the Nittany Lion, Penn State are,
So probably way sold out.
yeah. Oh, well, they said that there is another, I forget what it was, like the Nature Fest or something was coming in on Thursday. So that is that weekend, so people were booking out from there. So we don't have a speaker and like we are now moving on to open discussion. So does anybody have anything they want to bring up? Anybody from the chat want to talk about something? You could unmute so we can hear you if you want to do that. Anybody?
Stop recording.
Nobody has anything on the open discussion. We'll stop recording and we can talk about anything at that point.
See you later.